Hey y'all! This is Shadell from My Thrifted Closet, back with another video. In this video, I'm going to give you the real about heat damage. There's so much information out there about heat damage, and some of it, in my opinion, is quite questionable. So I just wanted to debunk some of the myths about heat damage and to give you some truth about heat damage. So let's get into it. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're not, you would know that I suffered severe heat damage 2 years and a month ago. So in May 2015, I got terrible heat damage. About 9 to 10 inches of heat damage. My hair was completely straight. There was hardly a wave. It was bone straight. My hair was terrible. And that was from one flat iron job mostly. But I realized, looking back and in retrospect, that it really happens over time. From blow drying every now and then, and just from that heat of the flat iron. So my hair looked like crap. I have a video on when I first discovered I had heat damage. You can check it out. I have some follow-ups about heat damage that you can also check out in the cards. So you have heat damage now, or you're trying to avoid heat damage. What do you have to do? You have to stay away from heat. Get rid of your flat irons, get rid of your blow dryers, get rid of your curling wands and your curling irons. You just can't use them. You have to stay away from them. If you have heat damage and the point, and you're striving to get your hair back to its optimal health, you have to let the heat go. You just have to. So what I suggest is using heat-free heating tools, and my favorite is my Q-Redo. I've been using this for years. I've had this since 2013. I got it from an ex-boyfriend. Things last longer than people do. So I still have this, and he's out of the picture. But I have this, and I love it. And especially with my heat damage, I use it for heatless blowouts. I used it to fluff my hair. I use it for steam treatments. I have plenty of videos on the Q-Redo. I will leave that playlist in the cards. There is levels to heat damage. Like everything else, there's levels to this. And truth be told, just giving you the real, severe heat damage cannot be reverted. There's, as I said, levels to heat damage. So some of us may just get a little bit of loosening of our curls. Some of us may get a more drastic damage of our curls, and some of us may get severe damage of our curls, meaning it's completely bone straight. So you can go from going from a little loose to completely loose and bone straight. And you have to decide, you have to look and examine your hair to see where you fall on that spectrum, because everything is on a spectrum, right? Now for me, there were parts of my hair that were able to bounce back a bit, but for most of it, it couldn't revert. It was straight. There was no way I was going to go from straight, bone straight hair back to kinky curls. It just wouldn't happen. And at first, for the first 6 months, I was in denial. Oh, my hair is reverting back and my hair is curling, and that's not what it was doing. I thought that's what it was doing. But when you would compare your new growth to your ends, you realize this hair just has to go. So eventually, over time, I just trimmed my hair. I could not revert my heat damage. I'm not saying that you watching this video cannot revert your heat damage, but again, look at the spectrum. If you're on the spectrum of it kind of loosened, with different techniques, you could get your hair back. But if your hair is completely bone straight, you either need a big chop right now, or you need to do what I did and transition. I transitioned for a year. Many YouTubers are selling lies and fallacies about heat damage. I've watched several heat damage videos, and there are a lot of people that claim to have reverted their heat damage. But what I noticed with a lot of them is that they have really grown out their heat damage. It's been about 2 or 3 years, and they said they've reverted it. But how have you reverted it if it took 2 or 3 years? What happened is that your hair grew out, and as your hair grew out, you trimmed your ends or you cut your ends. So your hair didn't really revert, you just transitioned. So you have to keep that in mind. Some YouTubers are going to say, hey, in 2 years I reverted my heat damage. They go from having fully colored hair to hair only at the ends. Your hair doesn't just magically go from red to black unless it's, covered with another dye. If your hair is only red at the ends, where it used to be red midway or at the roots, that means you cut out the red. So you actually cut your heat damage. So when you're watching these heat damage videos, be mindful of that. You have to know your hair. Everyone handles heat differently. Everyone's hair handles heat differently. In my original I have heat damage video, I said that I had never experienced heat damage before, but after looking back at older pictures of my journey, and that's why taking pictures and videos throughout your journey, even if you're not a YouTuber or influencer or whatever, is really important, because you can see the difference in your hair. So you look at these pictures, look at my hair. My hair at the ends are very straight. My hair didn't have a curl, even with a twist out. So what I realized was that I was actually damaging my hair. I hadn't flat ironed my hair very much back then, but I did blow it out. And I found that blowing out my hair also damaged my hair and gave me some version of heat damage. Maybe it wasn't as severe as when I used that really hot flat iron, but it definitely did damage your hair. Did damage my hair. So be careful, even with your blow dryer and your curling wands. I've seen videos about people who did get heat damage from a curling wand. I definitely got heat damage from a blow dryer in the past. Again, not as severe, but just keep that in mind. Heat can definitely loosen your natural curl pattern. Even if you think you're doing all that you can to protect your hair, even if you think you're doing all these measures and your hair is strong and resilient, you have to know your hair. Personally, for me, I have very fine strands. My hair is very fragile. People think because, you have kinky hair, it's strong, and that's not true. Kinky hair is actually very fragile, and many times it's very fine. So using an excess amount of heat can really damage your hair. If you don't have super thick strands, and that doesn't refer to your density, how big your fro is, but your individual strands, if those are not thick, you definitely need to watch heat. You gotta watch heat regardless. But if you have fine strands like I do, boo-boo, boo-boo, listen, come closer. Stay away, okay? Another truth about heat damage is that you can't avoid trimming and cutting, and for a number of reasons. When your hair is weakened, so what heat damage does is that it breaks the bonds, the protein bonds in your hair, and when those are broken or damaged in any way, your hair becomes inherently weaker. So your hair now being in a weaker state than it was when it was optimally healthy is more susceptible to breakage and split ends. So you want to make sure you're really taking care of your ends. If no other time in your hair journey, definitely when you have heat damage, you do want to make sure your ends are on point. So even if you want to transition like I did, you do want to trim at least every 3 months. You do want to trim and cut maybe as necessary, especially if your ends have become brittle, if they're breaking off and splitting. You don't want to damage the healthy hair at the root or mid-shaft, So definitely, you don't want to go scissor happy, but you also need to have the scissors handy. Does that make sense? You gotta protein treat and deep condition like your life depended on it. And I'm Caribbean and I have no beat, but you definitely have to make sure your protein treatments and your deep conditioning is on point. Right now, as I said, the protein bonds in your hair are broken, so you want to reinvigorate them with nice protein. You also want to do that moisture. So I would suggest alternating weekly between a protein treatment and a deep conditioner. That was really helpful to get my hair strong. Like now, my hair has never been this curly. This is curly for me. May not be curly for somebody that has a looser texture. This is the shiniest my hair has been. This is the softest my hair has been. This is the healthiest and fullest my hair has been. Over time, my hair got thinned out by using heat over the years. So this is the best my hair has been. And I really attribute that to maintaining my protein treatments and my deep conditioning. You definitely want to stay on that. You may want to go into protective styling or lobe manipulation styling. It was often difficult to deal with the two textures or having to find ways to make your straight ends match with your more kinky curly hair. So that may be a lot of work for you. It did become a lot of work at times. It's basically like you're transitioning again from like a relaxer to natural hair. You may want to opt in for wigs or a sew-in or braids or whatever protective style or lobe manipulation style is best for you. Some of us can't take heavy styles like crochet braids and braids, so you may want to opt in for wigs and maybe just do some twists and then tuck the twist away because maybe your ends are too straight to really stay together. So it just depends, but I would recommend, because of the fragility of your hair at this time, to do as much protecting as you can in what way you choose to do it. And lastly, I'm pretty sure there's more, but lastly in my list is to have patience. You may have gotten heat damage overnight, but heat damage will not be reverted, decreased, curbed, reduced in any way overnight. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of patience. For me, I was not very patient. By the end of my 1-year transition, I did not have a lot of heat damage left because I was like, bruh, I just want my bomb hair back. I just want my hair to be curly. I want my hair to be kinky. I'm tired of the straight hair. But if you are in it for the long haul, you definitely have to have patience. If not, just bitch out, boo-boo, you know? You have to have patience. You have to have the fortitude to really put your all into it and dedicate the time to get your hair back to health. Again, all the things that I said above, staying away from heat, doing your protein treatments and conditioners, trimming as necessary. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video gave you the real about heat damage. If it was helpful, definitely leave a comment down below. Definitely give this video a thumbs up and let me know. I appreciate you. I love you. Don't forget to get your Q redo because it's bomb. Talk to you guys later, and I love you so much. Bye, y'all.